Shalom, family. Shalom, shalom. How about Shem Yahushua Barakathon? Back with another Milk Monday. As y'all can see, it's morning milk now. Salakia for the lighting. I'm trying to fix it. Been having a little bit of technical difficulties. That's why we starting a little bit late. Everybody put a 7 in the chat if you can hear me clearly, please. Oh, man. All right, so I'm clear. Everybody can hear what I'm saying? No delays, no feedback. All right, cool. All right, then. Well, all right, cool. Sounds good. Because it's telling me my connection's sucked. That's why I'm trying to make sure. But all right. Yeah. Shalom though, everybody. How about Shem Yahushua Barakathon? We are the sons of thunder Israelites. It's our hope, prayer, and desire that all Israel might be saved. Y'all see what we're talking about today, right? We got a new lesson, a new segment. It's gonna be basically morning milk. I know the brothers told y'all last week. So here we are. We're trying to find the right time, basically. That's gonna coordinate with all the brothers. But for right now, it looks like it's just gonna be me. Y'all see what the title's about. This topic has been a topic I want to talk about for a couple of weeks now, but I've been busy. And ironically, it's still going on, so it's still a relevant topic. If you've been following the news, I got a couple of articles here we're gonna talk about. It's not gonna be a long lesson, but the main thing that I want to stress is for our people to continue to not jump on the bandwagon of this Asian hate thing, right? Because they're getting results that we haven't gotten, and they've only been fighting for things that we're gonna read. Their grievance is that they've had a series of incidents. I think they say 3,800 or something like that, or almost 3,800 incidents within the last year, right? So that I guess has warranted them the need, as they would say, to get protection and seek government assistance and help and all that type of stuff, right? But mind you, what we're going to look at is these things are incidents, right? So-called blacks and Hispanics have a problem with getting murdered on the streets, on television, on Facebook Live, on Instagram Live. You know what I'm saying? We're getting killed by police officers, people that work for the government, and there's no action being taken. If you are privy to the news and the type of stuff that's going on right now, you know about the George Floyd trial that's happening right now as we speak. So, hold up. All right. Just trying to make sure my articles get pulled up, y'all. But yeah, that's what we're gonna be talking about today. All right, Con. All right. Be quick, guys. Hurry up. But where's my phone? Okay. Yeah, it's a bandwagon because that's the problem with our people, right? A lot of us, we have a problem just being worried about our folks, man, and us alone. You know what I'm saying? We get too caught up in worrying about the other nations and what they want, what they need, how they might feel about us, and that type of stuff. So we've needed help for a series of years, about 500 of them to be exact, but we haven't received the help that we need yet, all because they're not really trying to help us. There is no help for the black man. Judgment is slack. What is going on with this? Okay, I don't want to see that ad. Hold on, guys. Salaki. All right. Hold up, y'all. Salak. All right. Yo, what is going on? That's what I'm looking for. All right, cool. We'll get started once I find out, make sure all of these work. I'm trying to load everything up. My computer's being crazy right now with the signal. Had to move because I got people at my house right now and they at work and stuff. Loud in the place that I usually go and do the video. You know what I'm saying? And where I'm at over here, the service, I guess, isn't as good. But all right, we about to get started. So we got that out the way. Yeah. All right. Oh wow. All right. Salakia, y'all. Computer went out. Put that 7 in the chat one more time. Make sure y'all can hear me. Salakia. They don't want us to talk about this. All right, bet. All right, cool. We good. We're going to go ahead and get started. Shalom, all right. Unmute yourself, please, when you're ready.
Shalom, Adawan. Dehabashim Yavshabarakah.
We hear you. All right, shalom, shalom. All right, cool. That's crazy. All right. So, as I was saying, Moab can't get away, right? Main thing I want everybody to realize is that there's a certain amount of justice that's being given to them that we haven't received yet. And their grievance is only a year worth of problems, right? Give me Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 1. To some people that might be watching this live from our nation that might not be Israel, you might think that, our sentiment towards the Asians might be a little bit harsh. But the fact of the matter is, you'll see exactly why we feel that way in a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But basically, the Asians have been trying to tie their history in with our history in America for a long time. They've been trying to tie their plight in with us for a long time. If you've looked up any articles since this thing happened, there's a lot of history, you know what I'm saying, that they've been trying to tie together. That's actually false history. They've tried to make it seem like there were a bunch of Asians that were walking with us during the civil rights movement, and all these different things was happening with the Asian movement, the Asian community and stuff, where they helped out so-called blacks and Hispanics and had solidarity with us. They tried to help us with our plight and stuff like that. Didn't really work. So what folks have to understand is that this whole thing that has happened has been a plea basically to try to push our problems aside and help somebody else's problems as usual. So I want to make something clear. There's a George Floyd case going on right now, right? There was a cop involved in that George Floyd case who was of a specific nation that comes from Asia, right? Now, that cop, let me, if I can pull this up right quick. Yeah, that cop got fired and everything, but this same community, right, a year after helping kill one of our brothers, wants us to turn around and help them with their situation, right? So that's particularly my problem. And if you look at the election, right? If you look at the election, there was a certain vice president who the whole last year they were calling her a black woman, right? She's a black woman, black woman, black woman, black woman, black woman. Now, a couple Asians get killed in some sex shops and massage parlors, right? And then what happens? Now she's the South Asian vice president of America, right? The vice president of America of South Asian descent. She's no longer a black woman. You feel what I'm saying? So we had people die already of our nation, right? Get killed by police, get killed by white folks and stuff like that. Hasn't made the news. The same weekend, if I'm not mistaken, that this happened, a young black brother was killed. Uh, a baby, right? He was young, like 2, 3 years old. Trying to remember his name. You know what his name was, Araya? You remember the kid's name? You can
No,
look that
like,
up. Look it up for me if you can. The young baby who died in I think Dallas, Texas, or somewhere in Texas, the same week that this incident happened in Atlanta, right? This didn't even make the news. This so-called black vice president that we have was more willing to speak about the death of a couple Asians, and then she even changed the nationality for the last couple of weeks, right? She's not even the black vice president right now. She's a South Asian descendant. You understand what I'm saying? So, um, yeah, just give me Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 1.
Con, it's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3 and verse 1. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven.
Con, keep going. Read all the way to 8.
Con, a time to be born and a time to die.
So there's a time and a place under every season, right? He's about to run you down all the different times that we have. And you'll notice America is trying to teach us this is a time for peace and everything like that, right? But it's actually not. And the sentiment that the Asians are getting compared to the sentiment that our people got, the sentiment that George Floyd got, the sentiment that Ahmaud Arbery got, the sentiment that Breonna Taylor got, just being 3 recent incidents is not even equivocal to the same type of stuff that the Asians are getting right now. It's no way, shape, or form equivalent to the justice that they're receiving, right? Justice is slack for us. They've received justice in a couple of weeks. I bet money that white boy gets the death penalty because they're trying to uphold a certain stature and standard for the Asian people, right? But go ahead, continue, Aksalak.
Con, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to get and a time to lose. A time to keep and a time to cast away. A time to rent and a time to sow. A time to keep silence and a time to speak.
What verse you want,
I just finished verse 7.
All right, come keep going.
A time to love and a time to hate. A time of war and a time of peace.
So there's a time for everything, man. You understand what I'm saying? Can anybody see what I just put on the screen right there?
Con's coming up.
Y'all can see that?
Con.
Okay, come on, computer. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to. There we go. All right. Can you still see it, or is it tripping right now?
No, I can still see it.
Okay. All right, con. This is little baby Legend Smalls, y'all. Right? So little Legend Smalls was a baby who was killed in a crossfire by the police the same week that this cracker killed them Asians. And you know what? I haven't seen this story on the news yet. So
Con.
one-year-old brother, a one-year-old Israelite child, is killed in a crossfire, right? That's what is going on?
Oh, the black player video up top.
Hold on, man. See, y'all wildin'. These Asians is tripping. What is going on?
Takes you by surprise. Fight back fast. New Tums Naturals. Free from artificial flavors and dyes.
Yo. It wouldn't pause the video. What is going on? Hold on, y'all. Hold up. They wilding right now. My computer is tripping. Okay, good. All right. Salaki. So yeah, Little Legend Small. I'm gonna read this story. I didn't know there was gonna be a video attached to this. All right, but it says a one-year-old boy who was accidentally shot by the police officer in Texas had parts of his skull removed to relieve the swelling in his brain, his family's attorney said. The child Legend Smalls was shot on March 3rd by Houston police officers chasing an armed robbery suspect who jumped into Daisha Smalls' car, police said. So the robbery suspect jumped into this woman's car. Didn't know the woman, just jumped in the car. The kid's in the car, and they shoot inside the car, and they hit the kid in the head. Right? Obviously, a mistake by the police.
Right.
But you know what they did? They had a way to cover this up because, ironically, Satan allowed for a couple of Asians to get killed in the same weekend, same time span. So you know what America does, right? They hide the story that would make our people upset. They hide the story that would ask us and call for us to call for justice for our own, right? And they make mass news of the story that involves another nation and their people getting killed, right?
Right.
So they leave Little Legend Smalls and his story, out the blue. They got people donating money to these gooks, to these chinky-eyed Down syndrome people, right? The children of Lot. These folks are getting money right now. And this kid is having his brain removed. He's having parts of his brain removed because a cop didn't know how to shoot or who to shoot at. Didn't have the wherewithal not to shoot into somebody's car when a robbery suspect jumps in it and there's people in the damn car.
Right. They
Right?
just training against that, just shooting in the car. Like,
Well, you know what? That's what the last three cases was about. The question came up of police training. We should change police training, police training, police training. This would have been the nail in the coffin if this made news. But it didn't. They made sure it didn't make the news, right? Let's read more on what happened to Lil Legend. His name is Legend Smalls, y'all. Come on now. They had removed parts of his skull to deal with the swelling of his brain. They had also removed a bullet from his brain. He had multiple seizures, over 10 seizures. He's a 1-year-old, yo. He's had 10 seizures at the age of 1 now because of a bullet from a cop who didn't know what he was doing. He's still fighting for his life. The family's attorney, Ben Crump, had said at a press conference briefing Tuesday. How long ago is this? Because I don't even know if the kid is. This is from March 17th. The kid might have passed away. Let me see if Lil Legend is still alive. Oh, Nah, looks like he's alive. Most I saved his life. Yeah. Okay, so he ain't dead, y'all. All praises. but the kid still got destroyed. You know what I'm saying? He's probably not gonna be the same. I don't know how he's gonna walk. He might walk different. He probably gonna end up talking different, all type of stuff, right? All because of this cop, and it didn't even make the news. They got a GoFundMe for the kid, and you don't even like the vast majority of the world who could be donating to help pay for his medical bills, right? To probably give him the best medical attention he could be provided. You know, it's not even being put out there as a mass story because the kid isn't on the news. They're not putting him out there on the news because they don't want to make us mad. They don't want no more uprisings, no more cities getting destroyed. You know what I'm saying? Because the Asian riots ain't been that big. They've been doing these little tiny little riots and they still getting justice. You know what I'm saying? When we have riots, it's a big thing. We tear up the whole city and stuff. They don't want that. And they know that that would definitely happen if a little kid gets killed. This is damn near, this is almost a Tamir Rice situation. You know what I'm saying? So says Smalls on Tuesday spoke his mom spoke about her son's condition while he remains in the pediatric intensive care unit. So the brother is still in the pediatric intensive care unit at this point. This is the end of March. Says my son has been fighting every day for his life. My baby didn't deserve it. The incident unfolded around 11:30 p.m. at a Chevron gas station in Houston. You know what I'm saying? Houston Police Department said Legend Small's mother was parked in a pump at the station and was outside her vehicle when this suspect got in. So the suspect got in the car while she's pumping gas, and the cops are chasing the suspect. During the briefing Tuesday, Smalls, who's a 19-year-old, right? This is a young mother. She was in the driver's seat of her vehicle when the suspect jumped in and sat on top of her. So the suspects jumped on top of the mother. She can't get out the car. Her kid is in the back seat. You understand? Ironic how this didn't make the news because it's almost like she was set up. She couldn't get a kid out the car. The cops are chasing, and instead of trying to apprehend the suspect, they just shoot inside the car. You know what I'm saying? Just like trying to find out if they had the right address, they just shot up Breonna Taylor in her boyfriend's house, right? Killing Breonna and shooting the boyfriend. So this is the same type of stuff, right? The idiocracy of the cops, the lack of negligence that they have when it comes to them doing their job. They just suck, right? They don't take no accountability, and the fact that they didn't put this on the news proves it, right? They don't want this story to become a mass story because if too many people find out about it, it's gonna be a problem. Why y'all got all these Asians out here protesting? Y'all talking about Asian hate every damn day on the news, CNN, MSNBC, Fox, but y'all ain't never once spoke about Lil Legend Smalls, right? So it says they knew she was in the car, but they still shot anyway, knowing a black woman was in the car. You see this? So the young girl ain't got no tents on her window. If you've seen the vehicle, right? They see that there's people in the car. They probably can see the person in the back of the car with Lil Legend in it as well. And they still decide to shoot inside the vehicle, right? Don't know if the sister has any association with the suspect or anything. They can actually tell that she doesn't have any association with it because the suspect didn't jump in the he didn't jump in the passenger seat. He jumped in the driver's seat while she got the door open and she's pumping gas, and he sat on top of her. Right? So look, Crump said so they know if the brother's sitting on top of her, he's eventually going to try to steal the car, or he's sitting on top of her because he's thinking the cops aren't going to shoot inside the car at an innocent woman. But what did the dumb old police in Texas do anyway? They shot inside the car, hitting Lil Smalls in the head, right? Well, Crump said that he and the family will talk to the HPD to get a body camera footage of the shooting released. See, they haven't even got body camera footage released yet. It's April 5th because they haven't made it a mass news. So there's no sense of urgency to get this stuff out there. That's what the news does. The news puts a sense of urgency out there to put body cam footage out, to put out different press statements from the accusers, from the cops that did what they or that didn't do their job. You know what I'm saying? So there's no initiative to do that. There's no incentive to do this because they haven't made it a big story on the news yet, and they're not going to. Which means they could take as long as they want to put this body camera footage out. They could alter the body camera footage and edit it, and then give you an edited version of the body camera footage, right? So that this story doesn't look as bad as it is, because now they got the time to do so. You understand what I'm saying? It says the incident. In the incident, officers chased the suspect about 3 miles. So they chased him 3 miles. Couldn't catch a brother after going 3 miles, bro. A black Mercedes the suspect was driving was possibly linked to 2 aggravated robberies. So he's got his own whip, jumps out the car, and jumps in her car. So you know that they have no connection because he has his own whip. He had a car that he jumped out of. He jumped out of his Mercedes into her car. So they had no reason to shoot inside the vehicle. They know that this is now an innocent bystander who the robbery suspect is taking advantage of, and you still decide to shoot inside the car. And I bet these cops don't go to jail for it. It's going to be seen as an accident, and their negligence isn't going to be taken accounted for, right? So, did I finish read that? A black yeah, okay, blah blah blah. Says the Houston Police Department released a statement Tuesday evening saying that the agency is hoping and praying for the full and speedy recovery of Legend. So the agency didn't put out a press statement. They didn't put out no big time press release that every single news media station would get so that this story could get big and their apology would be known to the world. It was just a little press statement, right? For the little 11 o'clock news in Houston, where they said that they're hoping and praying for the full speedy recovery of Legend. They didn't donate no money for Legend's medical bills, though. You know, the police station, every single police academy and every single police station in America has funds linked to it. They have a whole police unity group that they have. I forget what it's called, but it's like a secret society damn near. The Brothers in Blue. You know what I'm saying? So they get money. There's police organizations that are allowed to donate the funds that they receive. You know what I'm saying? When certain things happen, because they're allowed to do that. But they haven't donated any money to Legend Smalls and his family, and they're admitting to this being their fault, even hoping and praying for the full and speedy recovery of Legend. Right? The department said officers feared for the mother's safety when the suspect attempted to carjack her. So what? You shoot in the car? You fear for the mother's safety, and then you shoot in the mother's car at the mother and her son? Does that make any sense, y'all?
La.
Please make it make sense. They're apologizing because they feared for the mother's life and still shot inside her car. They think that the mother's going to get carjacked. They know she is because the brother's sitting on top of her in the damn driver's seat. All he got to do is push her from under him. He's in the damn car, got the baby in the back. He could dip out. Because a brother tried to do me like that in January at gunpoint. I know the game. So there it is, right? And they still shoot at the sister. The officer who shot the suspect and the child was a 15-year veteran at the Houston Police Department and has been placed on administrative leave where he still gets a check due to the investigation, police said, right? They don't fire these police officers. They put them on administrative leave. Administrative because they still can administer a check to this person even though they've left the police department. Administrative leave. So even though they're not physically doing their job, they're getting paid a salary check for it after killing a kid. So he's basically on a paid vacation, right? Where all he has to do is hope for the speedy recovery of Lil Legend Smalls. You understand? Myself and executive assistant Chief Troy Finner personally went to the hospital to check on the baby and meet with his mother. Like that makes anything different. You got to go to the damn hospital and meet with the mother and tell them, oh, I apologize for the police officer that works under me who mistakenly shot your son in the head because he feared for your life and thought that you were going to get carjacked, but still decided to shoot inside the vehicle anyway. Does that make any damn sense?
Man, la.
Come on now, man. But because the chief is going down there to check on the kid, that makes it better. That makes the situation better. It says the case is being investigated by the HPD Special Investigations Unit. Not that that's going to mean anything. And the Internal Affairs Division. Not that that means anything, because it never meant anything in the past. The Harris County District Attorney's Office, which I know about. My great-grandfather's from Harris County. They don't do nothing. My family got kicked out of Harris County and had to move to Flint, Michigan. That should tell you something. The office is conducting a separate investigation as per officer-involved shooting protocol, as SIVO said, right? So I just wanted to give y'all that little piece of information right quick before we really get into Moab, because this is the story that's being overlooked so that these Asians can stop, getting hated on, as they say, right? Y'all ain't heard nothing about Legend Smalls. It's probably the first time some of y'all are hearing about it right here on this show, and it happened in freaking March. Right? So let's get into the ages now. Man, boy. Give me Habakkuk chapter 1, verse 2. Hold it though. Let me see if I can find which article do I want to go into first. Let's read this one. Okay. Let me pull this up for y'all. Cause these folks, man, they've been getting articles coming out. I don't know if y'all know, but there's this like congresswoman named Congresswoman Representative Ming. She's a fat Asian lady, Democrat, right? She cried the day after those Asians got killed on the floor in the Congress. And that's basically what got them the justice that they're receiving right now. The tears of a fat lady. Fat lady didn't sing, she cried, and they got what they wanted anyway. All right, look. It says, growing up, U.S. Representative Grace Ming, which is who I'm talking about, remembers the slurs and name-calling she and her fellow Asian Americans occasionally endured on the playgrounds of New York. She's trying to build sentiment for them being called names, right? What name were they called? Huh? Chinky eyes? Gooks? They'll probably, ask if they could see walking down the street in the dark or something like that. You know the games you play with the Asians when you're little. But you know who else gets called names though? They call us niggas, nigger, right? Called us black, colored. They might have got on the shape of your nose. Your ears was big, right? Might have said something about your cheekbones or your forehead. I stuttered. I got made fun of for that when I was little all the time by Esau. I got into a lot of fights when I was in elementary school because of that. So, ain't no black folks that get to write articles. And I remember back in the playgrounds of Atlanta, Georgia, when the white kids with the red hair would be calling me nigger on the playground, right? They got movies where you can see the type of stuff we went through. Everybody hates Chris, right? Y'all remember when Chris went to the damn white school and how the white kids was treating him over there? Ain't nobody writing no articles about that. That happened to plenty of people, right? Brother Cano, our own Brother Cano, speaks about how when he went to the Jewish schools back in New York, how he got treated by the white folks, right? We're all called names, so far our plight is equal, right? Only they're getting justice for, the same things we're going through. They got called names occasionally, things that they occasionally endured. So that's what happened every single day. They had a whole Jim Crow thing where the white folks was able to call us whatever they want. Wasn't Asians afraid of Jim Crow, right? But let's move on. Let's see. I want y'all to see while we're reading these articles, right? I want y'all to measure their plight against our plight and see who wins. And then I want you to look up and see who's getting the justice at the moment, right? Can everybody still hear me? Put a 7 in the chat if I'm clear, because it keep telling me my signal weird. You can still hear me, Ariah? I'm good?
Yeah, Khan not on.
All right, cool. All right. Reading on. It said, let me zoom in for y'all. I feel like I can see. There we go. All right. It was just something we grew up with, she said, who is now in her 40s. So this woman's mad about some stuff that happened when she was a kid. She's 40 damn years old now. You trying to make us have sentiment for you being called some names damn 30 years ago, bro? I don't know. We were taught to mind our own business, not rock the boat. But what's changed for my generation, even before the tragedy, is that the people like me were starting to see people who look like their fathers and mothers, grandfathers getting beat up. Oh, wow. So they're getting beat up, right? So now it's a problem because their people are getting beat up. Well, what just happened to Little Legend Smalls, huh? We're not seeing our people get beat up. We're seeing our people get shot in the damn head. For sitting in the back of the car at the gas station. Right? Wasn't too much thought or worried for that kid at that moment, right? Wasn't nobody worried about his safety at the time, because if they were, they wouldn't have shot inside the car. So, I mean, that's what folks got to realize, man, and understand. It don't make no sense. These people are mad now. Now they're getting beat up, and she's going to talk about attacks, right? The type of attacks of Asians getting beat up over the past year, because this is the first incident where some of them were actually killed. And because they were killed, now they're asking for complete justice, right? For every single incident. Now you killed some Asians. Now you're going to make us right for even beating us up last year too. Yeah, we know about that. That's how they acting right now. They're demanding their justice. We should take something from that. Because when Ahmaud Arbery gets killed, he's chased down the street, right? It wasn't like no random white boy just walked into a parlor and shot everybody, because the white guy killed his own people too. He killed 2 crackers in that incident as well. So they can't really technically call it a racially motivated incident like they're trying to call it, because he killed 2 freaking people from his own nation and shot a Hispanic brother who was the only one that lived, most high, the water your house. Brother from Issachar survived the battle. But it wasn't racially motivated. You can tell because he killed two white folks. You know what I'm saying? Our incidents are most definitely racially motivated, and we don't get to demand the same justice that they're demanding. You understand? So it says, we were taught to mind our own business, not rock the boat, but what changed for our generation is we saw our people getting beat up, and that really struck a nerve, she says. Across the nation, such attacks part of a rising wave in anti-Asian incidents over the past year, right? So they mad about some stuff that happened from 2020 to 2021, or even 2019 to 2020. And then one incident happened in 2021, which was the result of, I think 5 Asians dying, or 6 Asians dying, and 2 white people, right? So it said these incidents, right, have shocked many Asian Americans. It says the March 16th slaying of 8 people at 3 Atlanta spas, 6 of them being Asian women, right? So 8 people died, 6 were Asian women, 2 were white people, and 1 person that was shot was a Hispanic. You can't call that racially motivated unless the person is just a hater of all races. You understand what I'm saying? Which doesn't really classify as racially motivated, because it's not a specific race that the person was going after. So this can't technically be considered a hate crime. It would need to be considered a killing spree, right? A serial killing. You understand what I'm saying? But not a hate crime as they're trying to make it. But mind you, the campaign is called Stop Asian Hate, right? So they're trying to build a bridge here. You understand what I'm saying? What they're really trying to do is piss us off. They're showing us that another nation could go through something for a year that isn't nearly as bad as the things that we've gone through in the same year, right? We lost Kobe Bryant to a cracker that didn't know how to fly the damn helicopter. We lost Ahmaud Arbery to some crackers that thought he was stealing a television out of a house that was just built, didn't even have drywall or freaking floors in the damn house yet, but he's stealing something and running out the house with it. So we're going to chase him. Breonna Taylor gets killed by police who went to the wrong house and just decided to shoot the whole thing up without even asking questions. Shoot first, ask later, right? And they killed the sister while she's in the bed asleep. And then we got George Floyd, who they're arguing right now whether his killer, who we saw kneeing on his neck, an Asian guy stopping brothers from getting the white men off of his neck, which we're going to show in a minute, right? These same Asian people are now getting help for getting beat up and having a nerve struck over the last year, as they say in this article. Let that sink in, people, right? It says, let me see, where was I? Okay. This has further sparked both a sense of heightened activism from within the Asian American community and a broad-based support from beyond, right? They want this broad-based support to come from us. They want it to come from us, right? Because if you look, there's a whole bunch of articles when you look at the solidarity, they're trying to say black people and Asians come together for their, growing plight and the hate in their communities. Why are we joining them when we've got hate in our communities and we're not getting justice for it, and they are getting justice now? We shouldn't be helping them get justice when we've gone through way more things than they've gone through, and they don't be on the line with us. I don't see no Asians with the Black Lives Matter sign, right? I seen one Asian do it. It was in California, and he was on TV. You know what I'm saying? So, moving on. It's really important and meaningful that we have had such widespread support from all over the country, being said. So the whole country is supporting them, man, right? In a way that's positive. They're not destroying buildings and stuff like that. Mind you, when the whole country supports us, right? Antifa and them get involved, they destroy the whole city. Make sure that we don't get any damn justice. The whole country supporting them, and nothing's been burned down yet, right? As an Asian American born and raised here, I have never felt that in my entire life. We need to make the most of this moment. So now they're trying to say they finally feel like Americans, right? What about us? We never feel like Americans. Why we don't get to feel like that? Why isn't nobody trying to capitalize and make the moment great for us too? Because they don't give a damn about you, blacks and Hispanics. That's why. Says the anti-Asian sentiment has grown significantly since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. Ironically, when at the beginning, they were the ones who started the COVID-19 pandemic, right? But now their sentiment has grown for the Asian settlement. It don't make no sense. But with many in the community citing the disparaging rhetoric of the Trump administration as a factor, San Francisco-based Stopped Asian Anti-Asian Pacific Islander Hate, or Asian American Pacific Islander Hate, which tracks discrimination and xenophobia against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders, tallied nearly 3,800 such incidents from March 2020 to February 2021. So they've had 3,800 incidents, right? Incidents. If I go find a statistic, we're going to have the same amount of murders. Not incidents, but murders. And I'll do that once we finish these articles. I'll go through and actually show you guys, right, how their amount of incidents in the last year doesn't even compare to the amount of murders we've had in the last year, just from our people, right? So just want to put that out there, because they're using the word incidents on purpose, because they know there hasn't been any, murders that have come from this. And they're adding incidents where Asians get beat up. Now, they're not telling you whether these Asians started the fight in which they lost and got beat up. They're just telling when the Asian got beat up and had to go to the hospital for battery or something like that, right? They're adding that in as a anti-Asian hate crime. But that doesn't actually mean that it was, because I've been at camp before and seen Asians get popped off at the mouth, right? I've seen brothers' videos where they've popped Asians for popping off at the mouth. You understand what I'm saying? Some of those videos might be counted in this 3,800 incidents, right? Because it's just incidents where Asians are getting beat up or hated on, so to speak. It might not even be no hands being put on these people. It could just be a situation where they're being recorded and they're being called a gook or something, right? So that's an incident, racially motivated incident against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. So it gets tallied in the 3,800 incidents. Wow, we got 3,000 murders just from the police from 2020 to February 2021. Because they say that a black man dies at the hands of the cops every 28 seconds in America. That's the statistic. That's actually way more than 3,800 bodies at the end of the year. You understand what I'm saying? But ours, there's no, stop black and Hispanic hate. They gave us Black Lives Matter, and everybody and their mama knows who's running that organization now. Crackers, right? So that's not even real sentiment. But moving on. Throughout the United States and Canada this weekend, Stop Asian Hate marches were scheduled as a response to such sentiments in places like Princeton, New Jersey, where black people live, Buffalo, not that many black people there, New York, there's black people, Portland, there's black people, Maine, not so much, Calgary and Alberta, so that's Canada, right? So yeah, that's basically all I want to read here. But let me see if they show you Ming. No, they're not gonna do it. They don't got no picture of her. But yeah, all of this started though from this Asian representative, Nancy Ming or whatever her name is, right? So that's that. Now let me show you this, right? Because they have been trying to bring in some type of solidarity between blacks and Asians since this whole thing happened. But there's a kicker. There's an Asian problem that they know about, right? Can everybody see what I put up? You can see that, all right?
Con, I can see the other one.
Check this out. For one immigrant community, the Asians, George Floyd's death isn't just about black and white. Why did they say that? See, this is an Asian person, obviously, right? They know that there was an Asian man who helped kill our brother George last year. He's on camera.
Mm-hmm.
His name's Tao Tao. Y'all remember Tao Tao? Let me see if they show us Tao Tao. They gotta show Tao Tao. Come on now. He looked like Tao Tao.
Other one cut out. Hey, just bear with us, Yasha Allah. Right? They messing with the other one, you know, YouTube all day. It's internet. Right? But let me I got a preset real quick while we wait for him to log back in. Let me get Isaiah chapter 16 and verse 6. Right? It reads, we have heard the pride of Moab. He is very proud, even of his haughtiness and his pride and his wrath, but his lies shall not be so, man. Right? These Moabitic nations, these Asian descents, right? They got they pride just like daggone so-called white man, right? Isaiah said that they lies should not be so, right? Adawan, you back?
I am. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on with this
Great.
junk now. My Wi-Fi fine. That wasn't even my computer. It just kicked me out the whole damn StreamYard just now. But
you talking about Tao, man. Ain't you know?
Yes, that is what we was talking about, huh? Good old Tao Tao. Let's get back on Tao Tao. I was trying to see if I could find this ugly mug. They ain't showing it. He ain't in this. I thought I seen him in the article though. That's wild. Okay, anyway though, here. I'll find a picture of Tao Tao. George Floyd. Okay. All right. They do not want me to show them Tao Tao. Okay, so look, this is Tao Tao. All right, y'all remember this dude, right? Everybody remember this guy? Yo, my computer be wilding. Okay, put a 7 in the chat so I can make sure y'all can hear me. We good? All right. So look, Tao Tao. Obviously, he's an Asian brother, right? So what the Asian community has realized since this happened, and they got the smart idea to get the black folks to help them out, because they realize we the best marchers, right? We the king of the march in America. So if you wanna start a rally, you're gonna need some niggas with your ass, right? They all know this. The gays realized it, right? So whenever they have their rally, they make sure they get the black gays with them, the transgenders, the pedophiles, everybody that wants to protest in America realizes that you ain't gonna get the protest done right if you ain't got one of us there with you, right? So This is the sentiment. Says there's something about the video of George Floyd's killing that makes it very specific to the Twin Cities. The video shows a white police officer and a black male victim, right? Something nobody is a stranger to, rather. It says a familiar dynamic in similar videos and killings seen nationwide, as I just said. But there's a third identifiable person, right? Good old Tao Tao. As an Asian American officer seen running interference with the crowd and standing watch. What they mean by running interference is, if you've been watching the George Floyd case, they found out that there was a brother there that was cussing out the cops at the very beginning, who they now realize is a UFC or is an MMA fighter. Not UFC, but he's an MMA fighter, right? So the brother, with the information coming out that he's MMA, they are trying to decide whether, you know, the cop shaving in him and the other 3 cops that was on his back, if they were in fear for their life, and that's why they stayed on George Floyd type stuff, right? They were trying to use that as an excuse, and they didn't even know at the time that the brother was an MMA fighter. But anyway, the whole thing is this: they're realizing that this good old Tao Tao guy, right? Tao Tao stopped anybody, even the white folks that was there that was trying to get the cops off him. Tao Tao was the one, you know, blocking him. He was causing interference to try to stop these people from being able to physically get the police officers off of that man. He literally helped them kill George Floyd, and it was seen all over the world. So if you're thinking that the Asians don't know that this man actually helped them kill George Floyd, stop that thought, get it out your head, because this whole article is about them knowing the sentiment here, right? And this was made a year ago. So these same people know how it looks now that they're asking us for help. You understand what I'm saying? So reading on, it says a familiar dynamic in the similar videos and killings seen nationwide, but there's a third identifiable person, an Asian American officer seen running interference with the crowd and standing watch. He's former Minneapolis police officer Tao Tao. Hmong American, I don't know what the hell that is, some type of Vietnamese people, right? But yeah, he's them people, the H-Hmong or the monks or whatever the hell they are. So says, and his presence not only has heightened slow burning tensions between Asian Americans and black neighborhoods in the Twin Cities area, but also has divided his own tight-knit immigrant community. Why are they divided? Because these same damn Asians realize that they're going to need these black people in the Twin Cities and all over the world to help them with their current problem of getting their ass beat by white people who don't like them, right? They want us to help them. They want good old cousin Jake, good old cousin Israel Yasharallah to come to their rescue, right? Help the sons a lot. But then they realize, damn, you know, some of them ain't helping us because they remember we kind of helped kill good old George last year, right? They understand this. Here's a quote. It says, if I think about it too much, I might start crying, says Gail Sung Hugh, which is this ugly looking lady right here, right? The daughter of Buddha herself. Okay.
What's her name again?
Her name is Gao Sung Hugh. Yeah. So she and her husband Mark, his name's Mark. That's funny. All right. She and her husband Mark run the Mark Hugh Patisserie Paris in Fogtown, whatever the hell that is. The St. Paul neighborhood that is the height of the Hmong population where she grew up. So apparently there's some population of these people in the Twin Cities, and now they in a fight with the black folk. You know what I'm saying? Especially now that they need our help. So says I didn't know that he was a Hmong until I heard his name, right? So they're different Asians and they got different names, and that's how they know what tribe they're from. His name's Tao Tao. It's a very Hmong or Hmong name. I don't know how to pronounce that junk. I ain't gonna try to get it right either. So in America, there are only 18 clans of Hmong, or the ethnic group from Laos, Vietnam, and parts of China. So these are Moabites. That's sided with the United States during the Vietnam War. So they're not even the good Moabites. These are the Coonbites, right? The Coonabites, because they sided with the crackers. And ironically, they're mad that the crackers are now whooping their ass all over America. That's who these people are, right? And Ming is also one of these people. The congresswoman who we read about in the last article, okay? She's also one of these people. So in the early 1960s, the CIA recruited Hmong to help keep the communist North Vietnam out of neighboring Laos. That's how America has control over Laos and has their U.S. Army base over there, right? It's because they recruited some people from that area, paid them off, and got them to work with them, and then allowed these same people to get visas in America. So you're wondering how a lot of these nations, India, Arabs, Asians, Africans, how they get these visas and they get to go up and rise up against our people and above our people in America. It's literally because they get recruited. Yo, hold on, y'all.
All right, well, look, let's get some judgments on Moab, man. Right? It's the book of Zechariah, chapter 2 and verse 9, right? And it reads, "For behold, I will shake my hand upon them, for they shall be a spoil to their servants, and you shall know that you should know Yahweh of hosts have sent me." Right? "Sing and rejoice, O daughter of Zion, for lo, I come and will dwell in the midst of thee, saith Yahweh." Right? So the Most High, he telling us, man, not to worry about none of these people that they talking about, right? Let me get another one, because this is why. Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 9 said, "Therefore, as I live, saith Yahweh of hosts, the power of Israel, surely Moab shall be as Sodom, and the children of Ammon as Gomorrah, even the breedings of nettles and salt pits, and the perpetual desolation. The residue of my people shall spoil them, and the remnant of my people shall possess them." Right? This is the judgments of Moab, right? People don't know, like the brother wrote in the chat, Esau and Moab go hand in hand for us being prideful and both being wicked people, man. Right? It's a lot of prophecies dealing with Moab when you go into the scripture, right? Reading on verse 10. Said, this shall they have for their pride, because they have reproached and magnified themselves against the people of Yahweh of hosts. Right? So the Moabites, they pride and exalted themselves against the people of the Lord. So Moab got judgment.
Satan, I love you, boy. You a motherfucker. All right. So now that we got Satan out the way, it's my mouse, guys. I found out what it is. Can everybody hear me? Put the 7 in the chat.
God, out of one crystal.
Bet. Let me move this over here. All right, we Gucci. Make this big again. Satan, can't wait till we destroy your life. All right, so says, if I think about it too much, I start crying. We already read that, right? Didn't know he was Hmong till I found out his name was Tao Tao. Blah blah. Okay, wait, I might need to read this part. Let me see. Okay, let me finish this. So yeah, they were recruited by the CIA. So that's how a lot of these other nations get up and rise up above us and stuff. As it mentions in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 43 and 44, right? That the head became the tail. The stranger that is within thee shall get up very high, right? This is how they do that. They do that because they're given these visas due to the CIA helping them out and using them and recruiting them in their own countries so that America could take over, right? Whatever group that they use to help take over that country is the same group that gets the free visas and allows their families to come over here, and they get the gas stations, they get the little someday moons and all that type of stuff, right? That's these folks. So, man, hold up, y'all. Salaki. Hello. All right, Salaki. But yeah. So reading on. Says in a minute. No, let's go down. Okay. So Tao, who was fired by the Minneapolis Police Department last month, is from that same community. Multiple news outlets they report that Tao completed his police academy training in 2009. So he was somebody who was a cop for a minute, at least 10 years, 11 years at that time. So he was somebody who was supposed to have experience. And he wasn't experienced enough to know that them kneeling on 3 grown-ass men, putting all their weight on a man in the most uncomfortable positions possible, in the most uncomfortable places that they know and they're trained to know that can restrict a man's breathing, right? His neck and his abdomen, i.e., they should have known, or Mr. Tao should have known that, that was unacceptable from those cops. And he should have done something to stop that excessive force, but he didn't, right? Says Tao completed his police training and had previously been sued by a black man for excessive force. But as we know, the Asians don't really care about us. So the reason Tao didn't stop them from hurting good old George was because he's somebody who actually hated good old George just as much as they did. Because he's already been sued for excessive force against black folks, right? Derek Chauvin, the Minneapolis police officer who pressed his knee in George Floyd's neck for more than 8 minutes, has been arrested and charged with second-degree murder, and was also somebody who was, in the past charged with excessive force multiple times. So just wanted to put all that out there, right? Now, here's what the Asian lady says. I am ashamed and embarrassed about Tao's complicit behavior in this murder, Hugh says, but more than that, the reaction of my community and almost a defense of him in this case. So she's telling us her community has defended Tao for killing George. They don't have the same sentiment as her. They're defending Tao for taking our brother out, for running interference, for allowing the cops to stay on his neck for 8 minutes, right? She's letting us know that her people still to this day don't care about us. But when they get killed by a white boy at the parlor, they want to ask for our help. They want us to jump to their rescue. Isn't that ironic? They're defending Tao for not helping George, but then they want to, make us help them in their little situation. And it wasn't even a black person that had anything to do with it. It was one of y'all that had something to do with our brother's murder. But none of us had anything to do with the white boy that killed 6 of your women, right? He even shot one of our people, a brother from Issachar, who lived. So they're ashamed, right? Well, this woman is. Not they are, because they're not ashamed. They're okay with what's happened. She just said that they're defending his behavior. Says the debate over Tao's real or preserved complicity as another man of color is killed has arrived in a community that has always had underlying tensions with its black neighbors. So now the truth is coming out. The fact of the matter is, we never had good relations with black folks. I mean, with the Asian people, right? That's just the facts. Look at Rush Hour, right? You ever seen Rush Hour before? Y'all remember how them Asians was treating Chris Tucker? All the racial slurs that came out in that movie, right? Because they really never had respect for the black man. Even in the movies, it comes out. You know what I'm saying? Am I right or right?
Yeah, Khan out of one.
So, like, these are the type of things that we have to realize. We got to be keen to these things. So, I think that's about it on this article. Y'all can get the point, right? But now all of a sudden, they want our help. Give me Habakkuk chapter 1, all right?
Khan, you want verse 2?
Yep. All the way to 4.
Khan, it's the book of Habakkuk, chapter 1 and verse 2. O Yahweh, how long shall I cry, and thou wilt not hear? Even cry out unto thee of violence, and thou wilt not save. Why doest thou show me iniquity, and cause me to behold grievance? For spoiling and violence are before me, and there are that raised up strife and contention. Therefore the law is slacked, and judgment doeth never go forth, for the wicked doeth compass about the righteous. Therefore wrong judgment proceedeth. Oh, I don't want to drop off again. Right, man, look, man, this talk, look, the wicked compasses the righteous, right? Jacob is the children of the righteous, right? Through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's the righteous lump that Romans 11 is bringing out, right? The wicked, man, we know who the wicked is, man, the enemies of Israel, right? Psalms 83, right? Verse 6 on down, give you the list of the Israelites' enemies, man, right? For Adawan come back up in here. Let me get you another judgment, man, right? Let me show you something that the Most High said about Moab, right? Moab got the same judgment as so-called white man, right? Jeremiah chapter 48 and verse 26. It said, make ye him drunken, for he magnified himself against Yahweh. Right? When they try to make us join hand in hand with him, right? They trying to do exactly what the lettuce, bacon, and tomato community did, right? Take the destruction of our people to exalt their own ways, right? When you come against the children of the Most High, you're basically prideful and exalting yourself against the Lord, right? It said, Moab also shall wallow in his vomit, and he also shall be in derision, right? He gonna be stressed out. You see that? That's why they're trying to come to the children of the Most High, looking for some type of support, right? But when like Adawan bringing out, when George Floyd was there, what was Tal doing, right? He was in conspiracy, right? He was joined hand in hand because Moab and Esau, they one and the same, right? Back in the Adawan.
Man, I can't share no more articles because every time I click on one, every time I click a new article, they do some stupid stuff.
I'm about to say.
Boy. All right. Go back to Habakkuk for me.
Gotcha. The book of Habakkuk, chapter 1, verse 2. Oh yeah, how long should I cry, and thou wilt not hear? Even cry out unto thee of violence, and thou wilt not save.
Right? So our people haven't been saved, man. That's the type of questions we're asking. How long are we going to cry and we not get saved? You know what I'm saying? But these people, it's been what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? They had a little rally every single weekend, and now they're getting justice. By the end of next month, white boy gonna get the death penalty. Go ahead, Ike.
Come, why doest thou show me iniquity, and cause me to behold grievance? For spoiling and violence are before me, and there are that raised up strife and contention.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore the law is slack, and judgment doeth never go forth. For the wicked doeth compass about the righteous, therefore wrong judgment proceedeth.
That's right, man. The wicked compass the righteous, and wrong judgment proceedeth, man. It's way more of them out here that's fighting righteously for what they want. Our people jump behind the white man and ask them to help us. We looking for help, vain help from a nation that can't save us.
Right.
They said we're gonna save ourselves though. You know what I'm saying? Shalom, Micah. Shalom to all the soldiers in the chat. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Shalom to all the people in the chat. Shalom, shalom, shalom. All right. Jeremiah 16:4. Give me that. I mean 6 and 4.
Jeremiah
6 and 14. 6 and 14. Yeah, Jeremiah 6 and 14.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 6, verse 14. They have healed also the hurt of the daughter of my people slightly, saying, peace, peace, when there is no peace.
You see that? Back to Lil Legend Smalls. Cops went to his mama. We so sorry for hitting your son in the head with the bullet. We didn't know that the robber was going to jump in your car. We didn't even know he was going to shoot at the robber when he jumped in your car. We feared for the safety of your child and the woman inside the car. They healed the hurt of the daughter of our people slightly, saying peace, peace, but there is no peace. You know why there is no peace? Because you need to make this damn story known to the world, to the public, so that they can say something about it. You're not even allowing the public to publicly critique the cop or the police department. You're just sweeping it under the rug. But forcing us to critique the crackers when it comes to them killing a couple Asian ladies? How you know that white boy didn't go spend his money last year at all three of them damn massage parlors and they took him for his money? How you know that he didn't go up in there and pay some extra stuff for that dirty thing that the Asian folks do in them massage parlors? You know what I'm saying? How you know he didn't come out with an STD or something? He could be on the verge of death right now. Got AIDS, gonorrhea,
Facts,
HIV. You know what I'm saying? And just decided to go shoot up the place. I don't know which one of them gave me the STD, so I'm gonna go kill all three of them. Right? How do you know there wasn't a premeditation here because of something that they did to him? They're not asking those questions. They don't even care, right? Because the Asian folks want justice. And they're demanding. You know what I'm saying? So I got a question for the Asians. So Psalm 58 and 1. It says, do you indeed speak righteousness, O congregation? Do you judge uprightly, O you sons of men? Yeah. In heart ye work wickedness. Yeah. Weigh the violence of your hands in the earth. You know what I'm saying? Because look, you guys have been asking us for help. You're saying that, your sentiment and our sentiment is the same. If I could pull up another article, the article I was going to show you guys was an article that literally is talking about how Asians and black people are joining together. So we saw one article that says Asians and black people hate each other and that there's growing tensions because of the George Floyd thing in Taotao. But they have another article from CNN saying that Asians and black people are joining hand in hand right now, right? But though you join hand in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished. Because Taotao still got to pay for what he did, right? All the people that were defending Taotao still got to pay for what Taotao did, right? Because those that make the sacrifices of the altar and take part thereof, it's basically their sacrifice as well. Paraphrasing, but that's 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and 18, right? Can't eat at the Lord's table and the table of the Most High, and that's what they're trying to make us do, right? Or you can't eat at the devil's table and in the table of the Most High. So like, but that's what they're trying to make us do, man. You know what I'm saying? So you guys are working wickedness in your own heart, man. You worked wickedness on the earth, and it's gonna come back to you. Give me Isaiah chapter 59, verse 14. This is what you gotta understand about America, man. Judgment isn't with us. It's not on our side. So either you make judgment happen yourself, or you wait on the Most High, right? These Asians don't have the Most High, so they're making judgment happen themselves. You know what I'm saying? They're demanding it. In America, it's making it seem like they have the right to do it. But when we demand for justice, what do we get? What do they show us? They don't show us nothing. They don't give us nothing. They give us excuses, right? Go ahead, read that out.
You said verse 14, right out of one?
Yeah, Isaiah 59:14.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 59, verse 14. And judgment is turned away backward, and justice standeth afar off. For truth is fallen in the street, and equity cannot enter.
So judgment's falling away, man. Hey, Kabatia, we'll talk about Yahushua when I finish this. But no, we don't teach who he is in the regeneration. We teach you Yahushua. That's who we teach he is. I'll answer why in a minute. But yeah, goodness gracious. Okay, so judgment falleth away, man. Judgment is slack. See, I gotta stop looking for these vain nations to help you when it comes to judgment. When it comes to things that the other nations should be judged for, they're not gonna be accountable, bruh. You know what I'm saying? If you guys saw what y'all always talk about on Saturday in reference to the women, he was telling Eve that she gotta have accountability switch, right? The daughters of Zion, that they gotta have an accountability switch. Well, guess what? The heathen don't have an accountability switch either. That's who taught Eve not to have one, right? So the heathen aren't going to be accountable for the things that they do. They're not going to hold themselves accountable. That's the reason why Zechariah 11:5 is in the Bible. The possessors slay us and hold themselves not guilty. That's a lack of accountability, right? They didn't really take accountability for killing Legends, or not killing Legend Smalls, but for shooting him in the head, causing that young man to get his brain removed in some parts, right? At 1 year old. He done lost a piece of his brain at 1. He's probably not going to be able to develop the correct way for the rest of his life now. All because a cop shot him in the head on accident. How you shoot somebody in the head on accident? And mind you, he shot in the back seat. They told us in the article that the damn robber was in the front seat sitting on top of the mama, right? When he was trying to eject the car. How the bullet end up in the back seat in the car, like in the child's head? Your aim should be way better than that as a cop. I'm not no cop, and I know how to shoot from a front seat and the back seat. And that's a little bit more than bad police training right there. That seemed like it's on purpose. You know what I'm saying? Isaiah 5:20. Woe to Moab, bro.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 5, verse 20. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil.
Yeah, woe to you that call evil good and good evil, man. Go ahead.
That put darkness for light and light for darkness. That
See
put
that?
bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter.
Yeah, man, because what are y'all doing? Oh, well, we'll put our articles where some Asians are sympathetic for what Tao did with George Floyd. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna try to keep it we're gonna try to keep it kosher with them and everything, you know. We'll try to continue to uplift the black community, and we'll join hand in hand with them. We'll help with their Black Lives Matter protest. You know what I'm saying? Just so that in the wake of when something happens to us, they'll have to be there and help us out. Then at the same time, you got half of them saying it's okay for George Floyd to be killed. You know, he was a drug addict. And this, that, and the third. The cop was just doing his job. It's a lack of sentiment. But you still want us to have your back when it comes to this other stuff, man. Woe to you, bro. Y'all gonna die, it's a dub. Woe to the people who call evil good and good evil, man. Isaiah chapter 16, verse 6. All right. Oh, my bad. I muted you.
All right. The book of Isaiah chapter 16, verse 6 said, we have heard of the pride of Moab.
We have what?
Very proud. We have heard of the pride of Moab. He is very proud. Even
We've
of
heard.
his haughtiness.
Go ahead.
And his pride and his wrath, but his lies shall not be so.
You understand me? So Moab is prideful, man. Very prideful. We've heard the pride of Moab, yo. What's that sound? Right? Somebody typing? But
I think that's yours, Adam.
For real, that's me. Goodness gracious, that's crazy. All right, but yeah, Moab is proud. You know what I'm saying? Moab is one of the most proud nations on the planet, which is why they can tell you that they have no sentiment for what Tao did when it comes to George, but they still gonna go ask us for help. Black folks need to protest with us because y'all are going through the same things that we're going through. Y'all are having the same problems that we're having. Salaki. Okay. So y'all are having the same problems that we have. You know what I'm saying? So y'all need to help us. Y'all need to join hand in hand. Y'all problems can get fixed too if our problems get fixed. That's the type of arguments that they're giving us right now. If we help them fix their problem with the white man, then our problem's going to get fixed. But they told us that their problem's only been going on for a damn year. Not even a year. In the stats, it said from March 2020 to February 2021. They have another month to make that a year. So this is 11 months. They're crying over some incidents that happened over 11 months. And if we help them out, then, you know, they're telling us we'll be straight for helping them out. If we help them get past their situation, they'll help us get past ours. But our situation started first. So where was y'all at? Right? Man. Let's get some history right quick between Moab and Israel, right? People got to know this because it ain't just George Floyd that made us not like the Moabites. It started way before that, right? Give me Judges chapter 3 and verse 12.
This is the book of Judges, chapter 3 and verse 12. And it reads, and the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of Yahweh. And Yahweh strengthened Eglon, the king of Moab, against Israel, because they have done evil in the sight of Yahweh.
You see that? Israel did evil in the sight of the Most High, and he sent a nation against us in the book of Judges. He sent us the King Eglon of the Moabites, right? That's who we sent against us. Go ahead, Ak.
Khan. And he gathered unto him the children of Ammon and Amalek, and went and smote Israel and possessed the city of palm trees.
See that? So he's man. Said, and gathered them unto the children of Ammon and Amalek, and went down and smote Israel, man. Right? Israel was smoted. So we've had Moab come against us before in the past. If you know anything about this spirit, you know what I'm saying? Trauma could be passed down from generation to generation. We've done a class on that before. You know, hatred is a type of trauma. The hatred we feel for the slave master is a traumatic hatred. It's a spiritual thing because of memories our spirit has from things that happened in slavery, right? It'd be the same thing in reference to Moab. If they were a slave master to us at some point, see the brother Papa put up the Silk Road and the slave trade. That's after what we're reading in Judges. We've been slaves to Moab on more than one occasion. If you do deep history on the Great Wall of China, which most of it was constructed during the Silk Road, the one that we have now, we were the vast majority of the slaves that those Asians were taking from the Middle East and Africa to build the Silk Road and the Great Wall of China. Right? They used our people to do that. The same way that the Egyptians used our people to build the pyramids, the same way that the Romans and the Greeks, the now Americans, used our people to build up their societies. Rome, Greece, and America. Right? Britain, Rome, Europe, England, right? So I just wanted to bring that out just to show people. You could read all the way down to the end of that, all the way to verse 30, right? It'll give you some history on that, just to explain to you what happened during that sequence. We would eventually overcome them, you know what I'm saying? But they were a nation that the Most High used to come against us when we went off. That tells you straight up right there that they're not a nation that we're supposed to be joined hand in hand with. They're literally one of the enemies. They're one of the nations from Psalms 83, right? Let's get Psalms 83. Start at verse 2.
Khan, this book of Psalms, chapter 83 and verse 2. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones.
Right.
They have said,
crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones, man. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
they have said, come,
I'm
and
gonna
let us
leave and
cut.
come back.
Huh?
Keep reading. I'm gonna leave and come back. See if that junk stop.
Come. Verse 4. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. They have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites and Moab, man. So, you know, Moab been the enemy, like Adawan brought out says Judges 3, right? Even in the time of David, 2 Samuel, man, right? He measured out a line with the Moabites. Them he was going to save, and he made them servants, and the other ones David destroyed, man. So there's no new thing underneath the sun, man. These people been enemies, right? Since then. And then look, one more point. When you go back
What
to
verse did you read to? Did you read the 6?
Yeah, Khan.
All right, bet.
I want out of one. It's funny, right? Because in Exodus 17, Deuteronomy, it tell you remember how Amalek, you know, came against us when we was in the wilderness worried. And look who joined hand in hand with the damn Moabites and the Ammonites, man. Amalek.
Bring it up. Same thing happened in the book of is it Judith?
It come. Esther with Hammond.
Yep, Esther with Hammond, all of them.
All the damn Edomites, man. They all was in the mix, man.
It's always Moab and Edom, man.
I want to read it over for y'all, one.
Nah. They know what it is. Just read verse 6. I think that's where Moab found it.
Come. Psalm 83, verse 6. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites of Moab and the Hagarenes.
You see that? So it's mentioning Edom, Ishmael, and Moab at the same time. I think Hagarenes are Africans. So that's that, man. I want to read something from Moab, though. Psalm 60 and 8. Why is it doing that? Where's all this extra noise coming from? That's crazy. Psalm 60 and 8, though.
Come. This is the book of Psalm, chapter 60 and verse 8. It says, Moab is my washpot. Over Edom will I cast out my shoe. Philistia triumpheth thou because of me.
See that? Moab is a washpot, man. Y'all are toilet, bro. We ain't got no reason to help you. In the kingdom, we're going to be wiping our behinds with Moab.
Come.
You understand what I'm saying? Y'all going to be sitting there with your little kimonos on washing dishes for the Israelites. Cooking fried rice, the real one. You know what I'm saying? So that's what needs to be understood. They're a washpot. They don't have nothing to do with us on a spiritual level, on a friendly level, anything like that. You're not supposed to help them. And if you do join hand in hand with them, just know that the wicked do not go unpunished, man. They still gonna get punished for the things that they've done, the deeds that they have against Israel. You feel me? Including Tao and George Floyd, and the defending of that thereof. Give me Deuteronomy 30 and 7.
So Deuteronomy 23 and 7.
Nah, 30 and 7. Salah.
Come, book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30 and verse 7. Right? And said, and Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. You muted out of one.
My bad. I said, go ahead, keep reading.
Come.
Oh, in fact, read that again. Read that again. Deuteronomy 30 and 7.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30 and verse 7. And Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies.
So all these curses that have, like, all the curses that our enemies have gone through, he's gonna have to put those on our enemies, man. And you see that those same curses are happening right now. That's what's going on. That's what's being transferred, right? So now we see the possessors also slaying our enemies, right? If you go look at the stats, the possessor is also slaying himself. There used to be a big thing, black on black crime. They don't use it in the media that much because when you look up the stats, white on white crime is now, it precedes us, right? There's not more black people killing black people now than it is white people killing white people. So the curses are already being turned around on our enemies, man, right now in the world. But they're not putting it out there to the public because they don't want us to know that the tide is changing, that the turd is changing. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we have to realize. We got to continue to put that truth out there, man. You know what I'm saying? We're going to end off with Jeremiah chapter 48. I like this one. Jeremiah 48 and 1. Just for Moab, so they know how we rock it.
Come. It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 48 and verse 1.
I'm still here, but I'm going to go on mute, see if it switch up.
Come. It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 48 and verse 1. Against Moab, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the power of Israel, woe unto Nebo, for it is spoiled. Kiriathim is confounded and taken. Misgab is confounded and dismayed. There should be no more praise of Moab and Heshbon. They have devised evil against it. Come and let us cut it off from being a nation. Also, thou shalt Salaki. Also, thou shalt be cut down, O madmen. The sword shall pursue thee.
Come on. Lord Blaster, hold on just a second. We almost finished. This is literally the last scriptures that we're bringing out, and we'll answer questions. But as y'all see, man, Moab is coming to an end. You know what I'm saying? In Heshbon, they have devised evil against it, man, and they're gonna be cut down. You understand what I'm saying? Go ahead, keep reading.
Come, a voice of crying shall be from Heronium, spoiling and great destruction. Moab is destroyed. Her little ones have caused a cry to be heard.
Moab is destroyed, man. That's your future, yo. It's a wrap for y'all. Right now, they tell you that there's a 9-year prophecy where Moab and in America are in the lead. You know what I'm saying? They're working hand in hand, trying to compete against each other to see who's gonna start the first. What do they call it? Micro human race or something like that, right? That's what the virus and the vaccine was supposed to be for. So they say within 9 years, either America or Moab, China, is going to be the top nation on the planet based on the outcome of whatever happens with this. And Luxembourg is going to be involved in that too, as like the smart city, smart capital of the world, something like that. You know what I'm saying? So even now, right, they're fighting to make either Moab or America nation on top. All these freaking prophecies that we're reading, it's always Moab and Edom that are put together in the prophecies, right? That should let you know something, man. They're going to fall together. Keep reading. Read verse 7, and then I want you to jump to, like, continue at 8 and read all the way to 18.
Come, for in going up to Luhith, continual weeping shall go up. For in the going down of Heronium, the enemies have heard a cry of destruction. Flee, save your lives, and be like the heath in the wilderness. The Most High, the best trash talker I have ever heard speak. Verse 7, for because thou hast trusted in thy works and in thy treasures, thou shalt also be taken. And Kamar shall go forth into captivity with his priests and his princes together. And the spoiler shall come upon every city, and no city shall escape. The valley also shall perish, and the plain shall be destroyed, as Yahweh have spoken it. Give wings unto Moab, that it may flee and get away, for the cities thereof shall be desolate, without any to dwell therein. Cursed be he that doeth the work of Yahweh deceitfully, and cursed be he that keepeth back his sword from blood. Moab have been at ease from his youth, and he have settled on his
Salah. Y'all realize what that last verse just said, right? Cursed be he that doeth the work of the Lord deceitfully, and cursed be he that keepeth back his sword from blood, right? When it comes time, we're not going to be able to even hold and join hand in hand with these Asian people. Ain't going to be no Asiatic black man and you wearing the little last dragon joints, right? The little Mandarin, what they call it? The little Mandarin kaftan that you put your fringes on. Trying to look like Bruce Leroy. You know what I'm saying? You niggas not going to be able to do that no more, bro. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead,
Verse 11 said, Moab have been at ease from his youth, and he have settled on his leads, and have not been emptied from vessel to vessel, neither have he gone into captivity. Therefore his taste remained in him, and his scent is not changed. Therefore,
you
behold,
see? Hold on, Slop. And Moab makes that statement a lot, right? We're the only nation that hasn't really gone into captivity. Nobody's really taken us over. Them and the Ethiopians make that claim a lot, right? The Most High says that because of that, they're very prideful people. He's going to make sure that they don't continue to live in that pride, though. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Therefore, behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will send unto him wanderers, that shall cause him to wander, and shall empty his vessels and break their bottles. right? And Moab shall be ashamed of Chemosh, as the house of Israel was ashamed of Bethel, their confidence. How say ye? We are mighty and strong men for war. Moab is spoiled and gone up out of her cities, and his chosen young men are gone down to the slaughter, saith the king, whose name is Yahweh of hosts.
That's right. So at some point it's gonna be a slaughter, man, and their chosen young men is gonna get that behind killed. You know what I'm saying? Just like they killed them little chihuahuas and serve it to us at the damn delis and stuff. You know what I'm saying? At the Panda Expresses and all that. You know what I'm saying? Brother says, Sue Young gonna be nursing my young. That's right, man. You know what I'm saying? I wanna what verse you want?
I just finished verse 15.
Okay, Con, read the 18.
Con. The calamity of Moab is near to come, and his affliction hasted fast. All ye that are about him, bemoan him, and all ye that know his name, say, how is this strong staff broken, and the beautiful rod? Thou daughter that doest inhabit the bond, come down from thy glory and sit in thirst. For the spoiler of Moab shall come upon thee, and he shall destroy thy strongholds.
You understand? This whole chapter, man, honestly, is just getting on Moab and how we're gonna destroy them. For the sake of time, I'm not gonna go into the whole chapter, but I advise you guys and you know, I tell you that y'all should go read this junk for yourselves. But
Con.
mute yourself right quick, all right? Um, let me see. I think that's probably the last scripture we're gonna get. Let me see that. I might want to read the rest of this. I'll read from 40 to 47. This is Jeremiah 48 in verse 40. It says, For thus saith Yahweh, behold, he shall fly as an eagle, and shall spread his wings over Moab. Kiriath is taken, and the strongholds are surprised, just like the brother just read, right? We're going to take over their strongholds. And the mighty men's heart of Moab, or in Moab, at that day shall be as the heart of a woman in her pangs. So you know how the Asians, you know, they, no, ain't gonna be none of that crouching tiger. That's a dub, right? They're gonna be crouching ants, young grasshoppers. You understand what I'm saying? Because they ain't gonna be able to come against the children of Israel, man. We're gonna come against them as an eagle, right? As their friend Edom and take them out. You understand me? It says, Fear and the pit and the snare shall be upon thee, O inhabitant of Moab, saith Yahweh, right? They're gonna fear. There's gonna be pits, right? There's gonna be traps, snares. And that's what's gonna happen to them, man, for the inhabitant of Moab. It's a dub. He shall flee from the fear, shall fall. He that fleeth from the fear shall fall into the pit. So they're gonna be fleeing, right, and falling, right? The blind's gonna be leading the blind right into the pit. That's gonna lead to their destruction. And he that getteth up out of the pit shall be taken in the snare. Because you know the Moabites, they could climb and jump. You know what I'm saying? They be climbing trees and flying across trees in their little Asian movies and stuff. You know what I'm saying? You've seen it before. They mouth moving like this as the movie's going. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about. So this is what they do, right? This is the type of situation that we're going to have. They're going to fall into those pits, man. They're going to be taken into the snares. And the Most High says, For I will bring upon it, even upon Moab, the year of their visitation. They ain't been visited yet, but it's coming, man. And the pride of their heart has them thinking, ain't no God going to do nothing to us. We got Buddha. We rub his belly 10 times and we get all the glory in the world, right? It's a wrap for that, man. It's a dub for Chemosh. Their sacrifices are not being heard. The Most High is not dealing with their feast days. He don't care about the Chinese New Year, none of that junk, right? All he care about is what they've done to his people and that they're going to have to pay for it. It says, They that fled stood under the shadow of Heshbon because of the force, but a fire shall come forth out of Heshbon, and a flame from the midst of Shihon, and shall devour the corner of Moab, and the crown of the head of the tumultuous ones. Moab is done, man. All their kings are their princes, right? Xi Jinping and Kim Jong-un and all them other dudes, right? Ammon and Moab, it's a wrap for them all. Don't matter who it is, right? Tao Tao, Su Young, Ling Ling, Ping Ping. It's a wrap for all of y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? It says, woe be unto Moab. Woe be unto thee, O Moab. The people of Chemosh, which is their God, right? Perishing. For thy sons are taken captives, because they are also included in the nations that we will take captives, whose captives we were, and rule over our oppressors, right? Because we proved that we were their captives. Silk Road, transatlantic slavery, right? The time of the Great Wall of China. And that passes in Judges, right? So it says, yet will I bring again the captivity of Moab in the later days, said Yahweh. Thus far is the judgment of Moab. This is their judgment, man. Jeremiah chapter 48. Okay? So with that, we're going to answer questions. There was somebody that said they had a question. I'm scared to move up to even see it, though, because my mouse be wild. Okay, let me see. I don't even remember the dude's name. You remember what his name was?
I'm looking for it, but the sister said it said anime
Lord
got
Blaster.
Hebrew. She said anime got Hebrews doing flips and speaking their Asian tongue.
Yeah, you seen it, right? And Hebrews love that junk, man. Jake, you guys love anime, bro, and I don't understand it. I never got it. I watched Dragon Ball Z when I was a kid. Once I got grown, I didn't watch it no more, bro. Y'all be watching Naruto and all them other movies they got. The Adult Swim and me. Wow. Lord Blaster said something. I found it. It says, hi, I'm new. There, can I ask a question and be answered accordingly? What's your question, Lord Blaster? Hope you don't think you're gonna blast us, because pause. Goodness gracious. Somebody else had a question too, I think. Oh, they asked us about if we the Yahweh Shah thing. Right. Yeah. So
Yeah, that's the one I was looking for too.
simple reason, I'll just give a simple breakdown. We don't go into the whole genealogy thing with or the regeneration thing with Mashiach Yahweh Shah, because there's nothing against the brothers that do. We understand it. We can understand where that how those scriptures have been brought together. We just aren't going to be a camp that does that simply because we don't want to put Yahweh Shah in the same category with anybody that's sent. We'll just put it like that. We're not man enough to do that. There might be other people that are willing to do it. That's cool. Ain't nothing against them. But I'm personally, I can see how you could say he's Solomon, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to say he is, because I don't want to make Mashiach Yahweh Shah a sinner. So I'll just wait till we get to the kingdom, Most High will, and let him tell us everybody he was. You know what I'm saying? That's the short version of why our camp don't have no lesson on that. But Lord Blaster, whenever, okay, right before I ask the question, yes, we the Israelites, Lord Blaster. That should be obvious. So what's your question? I ain't got all day. I gotta go to work soon. All right, got the kids. Yeah, Aisha, I don't understand it, man. Here we go. Question is, what do you say about Leviticus 20:13 to 23? Do you accept the LGBT? No, we don't accept the LGBT. How can you? Let's read it out. Goodness gracious.
That's the book of Leviticus, chapter 20 and verse 13.
Lord in Christ.
If a man also lie with mankind, as he lieth with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood should be upon them.
So look, this first scripture says, I mean, it's plain. If you have any belief in the Bible at all, right? Even Jesus himself, right? The great Hamashiach Yahushua, as the Muslims say, peace be upon him. Right? We got a Muslim debate next Sunday, guys. Stay tuned. But so yeah, Leviticus is clearly telling us if a man also lay with mankind, he like as he lay with man, as he lay with the woman, Salaki, both of them have committed an abomination, meaning this is not something that's supposed to happen. It's abominable, right? And that abomination is punishable by death. It says, surely they shall be put to death. Not they might be put to death. They possibly could be, they probably should be put to death because it ain't right. No, surely they ass is gonna get killed. Right? If we were able to live by the laws today, nobody from the LGBTQXYZWDDD community would be alive right now. So he wanted us to read all the way to 23, but I don't really see the need
to make his point. 23 kind of cut him.
I don't really need to go to 23. We could go read 23 itself, but I don't think we need to read all the way down to 23. Let's start at 22.
Come, the book of Leviticus, chapter 20, verse 22. Ye shall therefore keep all my statutes and all my judgments and do them.
Hold on. It says keep the statutes and the judgment, right? Hold on, I'm gonna mute you right quick. It says keep the statutes and the judgments. So for us to keep the statutes and the judgments, right? That means you have to keep the law when it says that a man can't lay with mankind, a woman can't lay with womankind, and then you have to keep the judgment for somebody doing that. The judgment says they shall surely be put to death. So if you actually follow the Bible, right? Obviously we can't now because we're in our captivity. But in a society where, if we're living in a society that actually follows the Bible, say this was somewhere in the Middle East, all you damn LGBTQXYZ people would be dead, most definitely. There's no reason to have you here. It's against, it's against nature. We're gonna read Romans 1, but read verse 23.
Book of Leviticus, chapter 20, verse 23. And ye shall not walk in the manners of the nation, which I cast out before you, for they committed all these things, LBG, and therefore I abhorred them.
So look, it says straight up, we shall not walk in the manners of the nation, right? Which the Most High put before us. So we're in America right now, right? It's clear that if you look up the stats, before 2010, Blacks and Hispanics were the highest and most stout community against the LGBTQ, right? Oh, I'll say before 2008, because when Barack got in office, that's when everything changed. When he became cool, because even Barack himself, being somebody that wanted to get the vote of the black people, blacks and Hispanics primarily, when he was first running for office, he was so-called against the LGBTQ community because he knew that that's what he needed to be in order to get our vote. And then after he got in office, that's when everything changed, and that's when you see most of our people becoming gay and coming out and stuff like that, right? So. But the bottom line is we weren't supposed to partake in any of that stuff that we've seen from this nation, including the LGBTQ mindset and way of life, right? So just to read you something else, you still there, Lord Blaster? I hope your name ain't Lord Blaster because you LGBT. You know what I'm saying? That's that's not good. Anyway, here, I'll read this for you. Romans chapter 1, verse 22. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. I'll start at verse 21. 20. I'm going to start at 20. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, right? So it's clearly seen. It says, American Bible law changed from 15 centuries, even most Christian. I don't understand what you're saying, Lord Blaster. What do you mean American Bible law changed? American Bible law never changed. The American Bible, I don't know what you mean American Bible. The Bible is not even American. The Bible is Hebrew. So the Hebrew Bible law has been the same forever, right? Okay, but there is no such thing as American Bible law. I want to get that straight. There's no such thing as an American Bible. The Bible is Hebrew. It's for the Israelites, right? So it's written in Hebrew. It was originally written in Hebrew. The Bible is still, it's still got the same philosophies and doctrine as the original Bible would, even though it's in a different language, right? So you meet American law. American law changed from 15th century, even most Christian countries. Okay, so yeah, I'm assuming you're saying the American law now prohibits homosexuality. Is that what you're trying to say? Which we know why, because this would be spiritual Edom, Sodom, and Gomorrah, and Babylon the Great. That's what this is. So this is the place that's supposed to prohibit homosexuality according to the book, right? So, but just to continue reading on. It says, because that when they knew God, they glorified him not. So there were some people that, let me read back on verse 20. So like, for the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen. So it's clearly seen that from the creation of the world, the Most High created man to be with woman and woman to be with man, not for them to be with the same sex, regardless of what America says. This is what the Bible says. And America is supposed to be a nation that believes in the Bible, right? And God we trust. That's on the dollar bills. Ironic. So, verse 21. Because that when they knew God, they glorified him not as their God, or as God, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools, right? Because people were darkened in their heart or their mind when they thought it was okay to sleep with the same sex and promote it, put it on TV shows, and all that type of stuff, right? What's that show that Tyler Perry got out on BET right now? I forget what it's called, but he like it's a play on the Israelite movement, and it's got nothing but homosexuals in it. It's a play on the Israelite movement in the church. They got different churches and different denominations that they call camps, right?
One called I think it's called Roof or Roofless.
Ruthless. I think that is what
got
it's
two
called.
on.
Yeah, ruthless. Ruth was a righteous heathen. They're the opposite, ruthless. So it's a story basically of play on the Israelites and the Christian church basically put together. They've molded both groups together and they've made it a homosexual movement, basically, right? So they've professed themselves to be wise, they became fools. They changed the glory of the uncorruptible God into the image made like a corruptible man, and to birds and four-footed beasts and creeping things. Wherefore God also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts. What's this uncleanness? Thinking it's okay to sleep with the same sex. All Christian countries have biblical law, and the laws have been changed since 15th century. Yeah, I believe that, because primarily 15th century is when Esau, or the so-called white man, uh, took over most of the countries that were so-called Christian, right? They took over in the 14th century, which would be 1300s. 15th century, they already had control of most places, right? The last place they didn't have control of completely would have been where the Byzantine Empire would have been located. And that would be the last place that they took over. So the places outside of Rome that the Byzantine Empire had, rather, right? So parts of Germany, England, Wales, Scotland, those places, parts of France. So they were still held by the Israelites in the 15th century to the end of the 15th century. So that's why a lot of those laws began to be changed, because up until that point, it was actual Israelites who were running those countries. That's why they had biblical law up until that time. And once Esau took over, they changed the biblical law so that they could pervert the kingdoms, you know what I'm saying? And cause the people in the kingdoms to develop a perverted mind, which is what Romans 1 is speaking about right now. I don't know what just happened to Ariah, but hopefully he'll be back. Says, wherefore God gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves. Okay, the brother's back. Okay. But yeah, where was I? Okay, yeah. It says, likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in their lust one toward another. Men with men, working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of the error which was meet. So what did they receive in themselves? they receive, the different diseases and stuff like that. The feeling it's okay, right? So the the Kundalini syndrome, right? So it says, and even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, right, or in their minds, God gave them over to a reprobate mind to do the things which are not convenient. So it's not convenient for a man to have another man go up his right. It's not. Whether you like and understand it, believe it or not, it's not convenient. But brothers still do it anyway, right? And it's mainly because they're learning from those nations, the same nations that the Most High told us not to mess with. We got a PayPal. It's on there. SOTIsraelites. We got CashApp and all that stuff though. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of different ways. If that's what you're trying to say, Sergeant Slaughter. But yeah, man. That's basically that. So Romans in the New Testament and Leviticus in the Old Testament both condemn homosexuality to a T. And Romans actually explains to you what happened for people still continuing to go down that path, even though Moses and Leviticus told us not to do so. You know what I'm saying? So hope that answered your question. We do not in any way, shape, or form agree or have anything to do with the LGBTQ community. All right? No, it's not okay to be asexual. Don't asexual mean you have sex with yourself? Asexual plants reproduce on their own. So what you mean asexual as a person? What, you just masturbate all day or something? I don't understand. That's not good. It's not clean. Goodness gracious. Asexual. Jake is wild. Y'all want to be pansexual and asexual. Y'all are, what's the deal? Bisexual. Why not just be damn straight how the Most High made you? Why not be a damn Israelite? How about that? Yeah, but okay. You're welcome, Lord Blaster. Yeah, we disagree with the silly LGBTQ man too. It's no reason for them to even exist. So all praises that you haven't fallen for the philosophies of America, brother. But yeah, Nathaniel. So look, it's not okay. Is that a man or a woman? Nathaniel. Sorry, I think I said your name wrong. Nathaniel. Okay. But yeah, so no, you're not allowed to be asexual. I know you said it means that you're not attracted to male nor female, but if you are a female, which it looks like you are in the picture, you know what I'm saying, you should be attracted to males. If you're a female, you should be attracted to something else of the opposite sex. If you're a male, you should be attracted to females because that's what the Most High made. You know what I'm saying? It says in verse 20 again, for the invisible, Romans 1 and 20, for the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen. It was clearly seen that he put Adam with Eve, not Adam with Steve, right? Clearly seen. So why is there even such thing as an asexual? A male should be attracted to a female should be attracted to a man. Shouldn't even be a word that specifies the non-attraction to either one. Shouldn't be a word that specifies the attraction to anything, aka pansexual. Shouldn't be a word that translates to the attraction of both sexes, bisexual, right? Doesn't make any sense. It shouldn't be a word that translates to transforming into whatever sex you want, transsexual. It doesn't make any sense. We need to stop the foolishness, man. Go to the kitchen, get the biggest knife, and cut the BS out, all of it. Okay. So, supposed to be debating a Muslim next Sunday. If he don't cop out, he wants to debate on Isaiah 42, and he said I can ask him any question that I have about the Quran, any question at all. So, should be fun. I don't got a time yet. I'll let y'all know the time sometime during the week. We're gonna make a flyer, but it should be happening on Sunday on this YouTube channel. Was the tribe of Benjamin who went to Nicaragua on the Mosquito Coast who mixed in with the natives. What are you asking, Nightmare? You're asking if it was the tribe of Benjamin? It could have been. In Nicaragua? I've heard that there's brothers from the tribe of Benjamin in Nicaragua. But I don't know for sure. I'd have to know what group you were talking about specifically and do research on it. But yeah. It could have been. Yeah. I know brothers who thought they were from, Northern Kingdom, Zebulon and stuff like that, who end up being from the tribe of Benjamin because of people who mixed in over there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I'll have to look up that Mosquito Coast. I haven't done my research on the Mosquito Coast yet completely. I know Benjamin's over there, but I can't tell you specifically if they're the ones that mixed in with that group of people you asking about. So I don't want to give you no wrong information because I haven't looked it up yet. But yeah, man, that's it. The Fiji Islanders, are they Israel? Some of them could most definitely be, but vast majority of them, in my opinion, are Japhet. My opinion. But there's definitely Pacific Islanders that are Israel. Yeah, I do know that for a fact. We do have people over there. But I would say the vast majority of them are Japhet. Yeah. Honduras, we got Israelites, but I know a lot of them are in Honduras, it's a lot of Asher. There's a lot of Zebulon. There's a lot of it's a lot of Naphtali over there too in Honduras. But yeah, I'd have to, like I said, Nightmare. I got to do my research to see if that group that you're talking about was the group that mixed in with the Benjamins. I don't want to tell you yes or no. Yeah, man. So that's it. This is Milk Monday, new time. We're gonna start between 10 and 11. Like I said, I'll have the time for that debate. We'll put out a flyer sometime this week on the Facebook, so y'all stay tuned for that. And maybe even on the YouTube, we might put out a flyer too. But I gotta make sure that the dude's actually gonna come to talk, because I know usually on these platforms we get them to come speak, and whenever we have a chance to show something, they don't want to do it. They'd rather speak on Clubhouse or something like that because they have the opportunity to just run when they feel like it. You feel me? So, like I said, we'll see. We're not gonna get our hopes up, but right now it's scheduled for next Sunday, probably like 1-2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, yeah. With that, we are the Sons of Thunder Israelites. So I pray in our heart's desire that all Israel might be saved. Moab, you can't get away. Shalom.